A very good morning. I'm Dr. G. Prasad Rao, senior psychiatrist from Hyderabad. Today, through this channel, Manas Sarovar, I wish to share with you my understandings of ADHD. I'm sure every word have heard about attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. This disorder is much more common in child and adolescents and rare in adult, but it can continue in some in the adulthood as well. But let us now focus on what would happen to this child. Usually, mothers give history that their delivery have been little difficult, either prolonged or there was a fetal distress, and sometimes cesareans are done only because the child was not able to breathe properly. The so-called fetal distress, that is in the abdomen, mother has difficulty of the child passing through the birth canal. That's the time when gynecologists usually take a call to either do some procedure. Mostly they might do cesarean sometimes, and sometimes they do other procedures as well. Now this otherwise, it's also possible that right immediately after the birth, the child does have birth asphyxia complications. Either the child has swallowed a lot of water during the transition, and that can be a cause. Likewise, as soon as the delivery, in the first few weeks, there was a very excess of jaundice in the child, which can sometimes cause a kind of a change. How do typically this child is? Typically, mothers and parents are very happy that this child has early milestones. They walk early, they crawl early, they are found to be very restless even as early as 6 months or 7 months. But the real typical symptoms start between 2 to 5 years, when the child is constantly active, very restless, and usually keeps running from, and one person has to be there all the time. So typically this is how the first few symptoms start. But then there are a lot of other symptoms. The child is cranky, child is emotional, child is restless, and child is hyperactive. Child has a lot of falls, and the falls are because child cannot be attentive too long. Likewise, between 4th year and 8th year, the frequent complaints is the child doesn't sustain the attention for too long period. And child is a bit irritable. That need not be a common symptom, but what is more important is the hyperactivity is present in multiple areas, both in the day-to-day function. For example, when they go to school, they can't sit in one place. So usually teachers keep sending that your child is a restless kid, or your child is an hyperactive kid, that your child is disturbing other children. Usually they can't, if it is a severe, we are talking about severe cases now, and in the severe cases, the child is definitely found to be in 2 or more environments. That is not only the home environment, even in the school or in the outside social situations, wherever they go for marriages, birthday parties, or even to the market, or even for a movie. They can't sit for too long. They have to go out. Not only this, apart from being restless and inattentive, they are also impulsive. Suddenly, they get very throwing things, breaking things. With them, the playful objects do not last very long. Now, these are the early childhood symptoms. But more important, what happens is, if they are intelligent, these children during the first few years, that is up to 3rd class or 4th class, they actually do very well in the studies because their intelligence, core intelligence is high, and during the 1st, 2nd and 3rd and 4th classes, usually what is tested is mostly a short verbal intelligence. But as they demand to write more, which starts maybe around 5th class onwards, the child's performance suddenly drops because these children cannot sit for too long to complete the homeworks. They cannot sit too long to complete the answers which they know. They are intelligent. So this is one very interesting finding, that till 3rd class, 4th class, they are very active, good in studies, but from 4th class, 5th class onwards, slowly a drop of performance. That is, previously they were getting 100 out of 100 or 99 out of 100. Now they are getting 60s. So this drop is not attributable to the loss of intelligence, but it is usually a sign of hyperactivity and inattentiveness, making the individual not able to focus in the studies. There are other behavioral problems as well in ADHD. For example, oppositional behavior, that is just opposing the parents or anybody, can be an important symptom. Likewise, lot of temper tantrums, anger episodes, moodiness, suddenly becoming moody can be, and likewise some of the children might have food fads as well. So these are all can be what we call comorbidity or another morbidity associated with ADHD. Then as the child goes to 12th year, the performance actually drops quite significantly because they can no longer, and because of the moodiness which starts in the early teenage also, the sustain the attention and the moodiness combined actually drops performance quite a bit. So hyperactivity, inattentiveness and impulsivity. In impulsivity, sometimes buying things and all these things usually starts in the teenage and late teenage. So you have now understood what is ADHD. Let us now try to understand how to help this child. Most important is an early diagnosis. We actually take the history from the teachers, because that is the second environment apart from the home. And sometimes some children are hyperactive at home, but they are little better at school. So we have to definitely necessarily take the inputs from the school, the friends. Sometimes they play well. Sometimes some of these children have better attention in the interested areas. For example, if they are interested in an art or a cricket game or a basketball, they might indeed be better. Likewise, what is also known as drumming or instruments of percussion actually improve the attention, and some musical instruments actually improve, means reduce the hyperactivity, improve the attention. So we are looking at some improvements even without the treatment, which is medicines. Most moderate and severe ADHD children and adolescents or even adult might need 1 or 2 class of medicines called stimulants, or there is another class of molecules called SSRIs. Now these 2 molecules are known to be beneficial. There are few other molecules, but your psychiatrist and psychologist, after a very proper assessment, would come to that conclusion. The second important component is not always medicines. There are a lot of behavior therapies. How to sustain attention. Especially in the early childhood, we can focus, the parent should focus on training the child in attention improving games. For example, knitting, stitching, not a very costly game. You just need a big needle and big beads and ask the child to knit. Likewise, brick building or even, and likewise as they grow up, maybe memory games, including, for example, if they are interested in puzzles, Sudoku, as they grow up, we would ask them to focus and play. But remember, this is a disorder of the brain, and the reason is because some parts of the brain is over functioning at that point of time, and that is due to a neurohormonal imbalance, which we correct with giving some medicines. Not only that, I think we should not, parents and family members and teachers and friends should not cause a stigma of the child, calling he is a naughty child, he is a bad child. When compared to other child, you keep giving lot of labels, and even if you get a label, you are very upset. So we should not call the labels. Instead, a single parent who would take a little extra attention on the child and focus and keep changing the games and study hour in the study hours. For example, that's a game itself. The mother knows that she will start with an English tutorial, then goes to maths, then goes to social, then goes to science. Then, I mean, she would pick up a kind of a pattern for her own child to, or that helps, especially the 2-3 study hours, and in between giving breaks. And the other one which works is a music therapy. The music therapy is kind of a wonderful, sustained music listening is known to slow down the hyperactivity and also improve the attention concentration. So ladies and gentlemen, you right now understood that most important ADHD in child in 60% or 70% actually hyperactivity reduces every year by 5%. So by the age they come to 12-13, their hyperactivity is very well controlled, but sometimes inattention might be there. So I would recommend some attention improving computer based games nowadays. For example, Peak is a game and Peak is an app which you can download and make the child play that few games. It's like a game, but they are all attention, memory, visual memory improving games. And there are multiple games of that kind. And I'm sure attention improving games of any kind definitely help. Having said all these things, let us identify early. Let us take professional help, usually after a proper psychological assessment. And then finally, your psychiatrist will decide whether to give medicines or not. But this is a little long journey. As I told you, it lasts till up to adolescence, and sometimes in a very few percent, that is less than 20%, will progress on to adult ADHD. And adult ADHD is a different topic altogether, and we'll come to that little later. But today, childhood ADHD is preventable, treatable, and the child can achieve the best performance. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for patient listening. I'm going to see you in my next video very soon. Bye-bye. I am Dr. G. Prasad Rao, a senior psychiatrist from Hyderabad.